suppose talk truth to power don off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go sama us, call them hate speech. But fear not, Mayegun don't come. Ingo torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, oh yo yo. Mayegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, oh yo yo. This one not the off in mind, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, oh yo yo. Can in the touchlight every corner, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, oh yo yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get it higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say Mayegun don't come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, oh yo yo. Mayegun
Hello there.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ dòdòdòdò. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Thank you very much. I know it's been a long time, but it's just been 24 hours.
Làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ dòdòdòdò. Mayegun diary, Mayegun.
Or maybe 48.
Mayegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Tonight is going to be very brief, not very, but it's going to be brief. We won't be taking any calls. Yeah, but for those who are joining me for tonight, share this broadcast, okay? Like the broadcast. It's going to be interesting. Just that we won't take calls because of something.
Mayegun diary politico. Mayegun diary Godfatherism.
Help me share this broadcast. Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them Mayegun Tideo.
Mayegun diary. Ani Mayegun lawamo dodododo. Mayegun diary.
Ami Bosede.
Ani esunraki.
Motideo. Share this broadcast. Read the caption of the broadcast. Read the description as well. Yeah. Make your own contribution accordingly tonight.
Ani esunraki. Lórí YouTube. Ani esunraki. Ọba bá gbé wúrẹ́.
Stay away from Eagle Square if you have no business there. Boko Haram's aid warn Nigerians. At first, they appeal to all of you to please don't abuse or attack the people that are coming for Tinubu's inauguration. They are pleading. But not just that. This plea is actually to all of you on social media. They believe that angry Nigerians are so influential that they have bullied the world leaders from congratulating Tinubu. And they fear that if they release the names of those who are coming, the world president or leaders or prime ministers, whatever, that are coming to Abuja from the 27th of this month, they believe that you will pick on them. They are begging you. And sincerely speaking, right? Usually a lot of you will kind of play down on if Tinubu will be sworn in or if it's not going to be sworn in and so many other things. There are so many cases that are after stopping Tinubu, not just stopping him, there are some that are also ordered for his arrest, for perjury, for forgery, and for lying. Sure you get. Now, all of these are known to Tinubu and somehow is still pretty much playing the hide and seek, buying time until he gets immunity and he can then use his the power of Nigeria to crush anything. So, for example, there is a case of double nomination, which is, according to them, they say Section 35 of their Electoral Act already fired the shitty man. Now, if you remember Leon, you remember Leon in what did they call that guy in Bayelsa? Yeah, the guy that was that won election, APC, right? He was preparing for his inauguration. He was in fact rehearsing for it when the news broke that he's been completely ruled out. He didn't win. You know why? His own deputy, vice governor, the deputy governor, submitted their fake credentials, and their opposition, PDP, they picked on it, and their electoral act or whatever cancelled them. But Tinubu is not a lion, a big leon. That's what his supporters are saying. But this case has been on until today. Supreme Court was supposed to rule on Shitty Man's double nomination. Now, that double nomination has to do with, remember when they had to pick somebody as a placeholder for Kolu? Sorry, a placeholder for Shitty Man. So it will be the vice to Kolu, right? However, that same period, Shitty Man was a nominated senatorial aspirant, nominated senatorial candidate or so. How? When Kolu announced his name, right, he did not withdraw his senatorial candidacy. He just submitted his credential to the same INEC. So with the same INEC for days, Shettima was vice presidential candidate, he was senatorial candidate until later when they had to shovel the name or shovel the, change name, so to say. Right. Give me a sec. Right. So until Shitty Man, right, finally kind of settled for the vice presidency. Now, somebody picked that up. They said it's against their law. It's enough to disqualify Kolu. So, Atifku, the PDP, are the ones behind that case. However, they are supposed to be in court today. The Supreme Court was supposed to rule on it today, right? However, the Supreme Court had to adjourn until the 26th. Right now, from the rumor mills, right, they are saying that Kolu, just same way he kind of wasted time in being served the tribunal papers or tribunal, petition and all that, that he had to run to France, right? Delay. Now, you see, this next few days is so crucial that it's beginning to make kind of sense to me now, right? That despite all the riggings here, you know what I mean? Like, you would expect, according to them, they said Tinubu is now asking for Bokwari's help in kind of declaring public holiday on the 26th of May, so that, Supreme Court won't open. They will not be able to see it because of public holiday. Not just that, weekend, they will not be able to see it because of because of weekend. And by Monday morning, most of the Supreme Court justices, they will be at the Eagle Square, swearing in Tinubu. And as people are predicting, every case will begin to fall like pack of cards. It's not just about threat and all that. It includes inducement, monetary inducement for the judiciary. That's the rumor. Because there is no reason for them to postpone or adjourn the case today. And it's just for them to come and deliver judgment. So it's not like people want to argue or discuss anymore. Supreme Court should just say, was it right for Shetima to have double nomination or not? That's it. If they say, well, it doesn't matter, right? It should go ahead. Sure, you get. Usually people are saying that it's pre-election problem. That's nobody's problem. That's the problem of their party having done, you know what I mean? So it won't come there. But when they remember what happened in Bayelsa, they begin to kind of feel somehow. Now, another part is this. The rigging of election in Nigeria was done so terribly by these guys that it is now sort of haunting them. Do you want me to explain that? The ruling party in Nigeria lost the major the major states. Most times they are the election deciders in Nigeria. Are you with me? They lost Kano, they lost Kaduna, they lost Katsina, they lost Lagos. Now, in River State, where they concentrated all effort to rig, Baba, after doing all the rigging and wasting all the effort in River State, the Federal Capital Territory, they completely ignored it. Now, people will tell you, they have been trying to say that Abuja is 37th state of Nigeria. People are now kind of bringing some section of their fraudulent constitution up to say, no, you lie. No, you lie. They are now becoming a sort of concern. Now, what's that? You plotted to falsify figures everywhere. According to PDP, Atifku, they said Tinubu only won in just 5 states. He didn't win a single state in northern Nigeria. Can you even believe that? According to Atiku. But he got 25% in just 19 states. He didn't even get up to 24, which is the 2/3. That's Atiku with their own record. Obi and his own people are confirming the same thing. That all the figures and numbers declared for this guy, they are not making any sense. It was pretty much like, some amateurs, in haste, putting together figures, but they are not paying attention to, remembering the constitutional requirement of where they are putting all those figures. And that is why they say today, INEC is actually only asking that without any evidence, without anything, without presenting the result they declared, right, or not willing to, because if they have the result, by the way, right, they won't be delaying those, those who are asking for them, Labour Party, PDP. They won't be denying them or delaying or kind of making excuses, right? They don't have it. So today, in their court, they said that the beavers, which is very crucial in this your tribunal, they said that the beavers has been reformatted. The only information left on beavers is the governorship and the House of Assembly elections. So what happened to the presidential election result and all that? Presidential election. What they are now saying is that they have a back end information for that, and they have provided them to the litigants. Anyway, that's when we get to the part of the court. So this, yesterday, even though I was not here, right? Yesterday, the National Security Advisor to Bokwari, Moguno, retired General being Koko Moguno, right? So Moguno came out and he said they want to plead with Nigerians, okay? Because this, like I said, the election was so badly rigged, miscalculated, but they dared the whole consequence. The consequences anyway, just like the old way. But what is not going away is that the people who have the original results are not keeping quiet. They are trying to shut them out of the court, even though they told them to go to court, right? They are trying to shut them out of that court. They are not going away. They are offering them government of national unity. They are not taking it. Are you there, right? So because of this, they believe. Now, the day they declared Kolu the president-elect, 4 a.m. on March 1st, 6 or 7 days after the election. Okay. So when they declared him winner, the whole country was like somebody died. I mean, if 8 million people voted for you, they should be on the street celebrating. If you have to consider all that happened before the elections, Abi, but that didn't happen. It was like the country was in a mourning mood, like somebody died. Then few days later, some countries' president or leaders, they started sending greetings. For example, Ukraine, the one from Ukraine said, congratulations that Nigeria entered him. They entered him. It was so massive. Other ones who are kind of sending congratulatory messages, they were locking their comment from Nigerians. Sure, you get. It was so massive that majority of them just kind of, they never even send the greetings at all. So they had to send the congratulations to Nigeria or to Bokwari, according to them, send it to them like normal text messages instead of the normal publicized, what have you. So it was already been reported in the media. I mean, in this Western media and the rest of the world, they are already reporting that Nigeria has elected a drug dealer as their next president. So that one is already being translated to different languages all over the world. So what happened then is this: whenever any leader in the world congratulated Tinubu, even their own citizens will be denying them. Now, this was supposed to be something that by now, right, as they announced the preparation for the inauguration, right, by now, you would have seen the mood of the country. You'll be seeing and hearing about people coming in. You'll be hearing about concerts, artists performing here and there. You'll be hearing things that makes you feel like in the next few days, right, even if you don't like them, it's never been this bad, that they have to keep the congratulatory messages of world leaders away. Now, they are telling people that they are expecting 64 world leaders and more than 100 head of organizations all over the world to come and grace. It's going to be the biggest assemblage of world leaders in Nigeria for an inauguration. That's what they are saying. But do you know their fear? Their fear right now is that what if these Nigerians who are saying they must not inaugurate him, he must not be sworn in, what if they swarm the inauguration venue? Now, they are in panic mode right now instead of celebration mode. They are in panic mode right now. They are now training soldiers that are going to be like combat ready. If they see Nigerians with any one of them around there, you're uninvited, because it's now like a secret affair, a private affair. Even at that, they still want to make sure that they are pleading with you. Please, don't abuse them when you finally see their pictures. Don't attack them. They are just here to come and do the normal diplomatic role. Nigeria is begging Nigerian government is begging Nigerians to please not disgrace them on the inauguration day. So please don't make it. And online, all of you online, please, that day. I'm not saying this, so they said it. They are pleading with Nigerians not to abuse those who are going to come for Tinubu's inauguration. That will tell you the picture. That gives you the picture of what it is going to be thereafter. Just so you know, okay? Now, the Bokwari, the failed Bokwari, today was in Lagos, or still in Lagos. I don't know if he's left. And it was to to commission. I said inaugurate. To commission Dangote refineries or refinery. Now, I am going to be very, very kind of fair in what I'm about to tell you now. All right. First, we will acknowledge the failure of Bokwari and APC, as well as the corruption that eventually made it impossible for Nigeria to even build or manage one single refinery in 8 years of this APC. And at the twilight of their failed, crumbling government, they are now celebrating the biggest refinery in Africa or in the world that is going to create 133,000 jobs, according to them. Indeed, it's also going to save Nigeria a lot of money, especially the one they are paying on subsidy. Now, that is why I'm going to be very fair in this kind of, session now, okay? Their failure must be acknowledged, right? And at the same time, the advantage of what this is to you should also be kind of acknowledged. But overall, Nigerians will be the losers of this crony capitalism that has now popped up, the Dangote refineries. You did have Dangote cement. That didn't make cement, your cement in Nigeria, despite him sourcing all the raw materials right there in Nigeria. It didn't make your cement the cheapest in Africa, and it will never make it, because according to them, this is not about you, it's about them. Now, I'm going to come to that. Now, Dangote refinery, I heard that a lot of people are beginning to buy land because they want to build houses around the Dangote refinery, because they're going to get 24 hours electricity. You want to build residential areas next to refinery, right? Good luck with that. Anyway, when a refinery, according to, a data I'm going to share with you now, right? Now, if to say Nigeria currently, or should I say, before APC, Egbekegbe came in, Nigeria had 6 refineries. They were working, but they were not working at the full capacity. It was all, they were always conduit pipe, but they were working. So because of this, right, the capacity of the refineries that couldn't refine enough, crude, or should I say enough fuel, right, for the local consumption, led to Nigeria paying so much for subsidy. That is, for those who are bringing the extra to cover up the shortages that the refineries in Nigeria couldn't refine. 1 second. I'm sorry. But when they were coming in, they promised you that they will build you 1 refinery every year. By now, if they had sort of repaired the old one to full capacity, and they built 1 every year, by now, Nigeria will have more than 14 refineries working. And do you know what that means? A single refinery can generate at least more than 100 megawatts of, or let me say 150 megawatts of electricity. Small one. Now, if you have a capacity like the one you have in Port Harcourt, right, which has the capacity of generating generating over 500 megawatts of electricity, right? What it means is that with these refineries here and there, primarily if they were working, they would have generated, at least by now, they will be generating over 14,000 megawatts of electricity across all of them. Sure, you get by now, because it means that, by the time they all get to full capacity, you get a lot, if not close to 20,000. But no refinery was built in Nigeria by Bukwari. The ones that were working, they became dead, completely dead. Now, here is how you're going to see the difference. When Nigeria still had their refineries, Obasanjo, who was the president of Nigeria then, paid subsidy too. And for Obasanjo's 8 years, Nigeria paid 812 billion naira for subsidy. And you know how much you were buying a liter of fuel back then anyway, so yeah. And you know the crisis of fuel increase, petroleum increase, or what have you, that led to different protests across Nigeria back then, right? Now, Yaradua, that spent just 3 years, right? Under him, that was when the fuel subsidy, petrol subsidy scam became a real business. Yaradua. And under him, in 3 years, Nigeria spent 794 billion in paying for what Nigerians would have been paying for petrol to pay, in order to buy cheap petrol. Under Goodluck Jonathan, in 5 years, Jonathan spent 3.9 trillion on subsidy. That's 5 years. And ladies and gentlemen, the man that said, what is subsidy? Subsidy is a scam. Bukwari, in 8 years, this is how much Nigeria has spent on subsidy, and then even paying more. 11 trillion naira. And it's still they are still counting. 11 trillion naira for subsidy. No single refinery, no nothing. Just money for the boys. Are you with me? For 8 years. Electricity, zero. Nigeria electricity started collapsing. National grid collapsing like Dakudaji for the first time. It collapsed like 99 times. Can you believe that? 99 times in 8 years. There is a headline for it. You can Google it and read about it. It's real. 99 times national grid of Nigeria collapsed under these criminals in 8 years. They didn't have a single megawatt to Nigeria electricity in 8 years. Now, Nigeria that couldn't build a refinery suddenly became the guarantor for Dangote to build one. Dangote, the quota system billionaire, they got the Central Bank of Nigeria vault opened for him. He had this, he has his own office in there. He is one of those who are regulating your financial worldview in Nigeria, because if it's not going to serve Dangote, then it's not going to be done. So the quota system billionaire ran short of money when Nigeria entered, when coronavirus happened, and Nigeria couldn't see money to borrow from anywhere. That was when they were printing and printing and printing, but they couldn't get any money from anywhere for Dangote, so that slowed it down. But here is the interesting part. The arrangement they have now made with Dangote. Listen to this. Subsidy is an arrangement that is between the political criminals, the ones in government, and the ones that are not in government. They call them oil marketers. So you get. So that arrangement is that if Nigeria, if they don't pay that subsidy to those marketers who are bringing the fuel back to Nigeria, Nigeria is the only oil producing country in the world that doesn't refine its own, that doesn't refine our own crude oil. It's the only country in the whole world that has crude oil but doesn't refine the crude oil. So marketers that are politicians, friends of politicians, so they give them slots, how much of fuel they should bring. They will take your crude oil away and they will bring in finished products. So with this arrangement with Dangote, according to them, to strengthen the Naira, they will be selling the crude oil to Dangote's refinery in Naira. I am still trying to figure out what that simply means, but here it is. So Dangote refinery has investors, so many of them politicians, governors, ministers, sure you get, who have stolen money and they have put that money back inside the Dangote. Now, you might say this is a good thing. At least they are investing the money in Nigeria. Just wait for it. Don't jump the gun. Okay? So this is like washing the dirty money that make it looks like it's cleaner when it is not. Okay? So Nigeria that couldn't maintain a single refinery, Bokwari and gang that couldn't, they now invested 20% shares in Dangote. Before they invested the 20% shares in Dangote refinery, they privatized NNPC. So NNPC became a private company where they sold the shares to themselves, owned by them. Maybe some of you haven't paid attention. Sure you get. NNPC is no longer Nigeria anymore. It is now PLC or something. Now them buy the share, now them own the NNPC now. So that NNPC that is in charge of Nigeria crude oil sale and all of that, that NNPC is now owned by some private people. That NNPC now buy 20% shares in Dangote refinery. That's investing in it. That's what took Bokwari and so many other politicians there. So we don't know other investors in Dangote refinery. If it was in America, you probably would have their media give you all the details. Then you will know that your state governors, your past governors, your ministers, their wives, their children, and all the monies they have taken from you have been reinvested in this. But at the same time, they are putting all this together not to serve you. I'm going, not to serve you. How do I mean? And what do I mean? Let me explain. In Nigeria, during Obasanjo time, he was able to put together an account called the excess crude account. It was an account it's like a saving for the rainy day, okay? Nigeria is part of the international oil community, which means there is a price and benchmark, okay, that will be given to Nigeria. And also, Nigeria is given a benchmark of how much Nigeria must pump into OPEC, as they say. Now, what they are doing now is that if a barrel of crude oil, for example, is $80, okay, so Dangote, somebody that is already that has been collecting or receiving different exchange rates than the rest of Nigerians. When you meet businessmen in Nigeria, businesswomen in Nigeria, I'm talking about international businessmen and women who actually have to make to buy forex, change naira to other currencies, right? And they tell you what are the exchange rates they are actually facing, killing their businesses. So, but when you ask them what is Dangote getting his own exchange rate from, for, right? Don't be shocked. That's how we made a quota system billionaire in Nigeria. Monopoly, preferential treatment, an advantage that nobody else has. Sure, you get now. So he has that, and good for him, Abi. So if Dangote is collecting or is getting his own forex at a very, very highly discounted exchange rate, what do you think will happen to the 600,000 a day, 600,000 barrels a day of crude oil they want to be selling to him? Would they be selling them to him at the rate of the dollar exchange? For example, if they say official, dollar exchange in Nigeria is 500, for example, even though it is about 780 naira to a dollar. So let's say if they say the official price in Nigeria or central bank price is 500 naira, would they now say 500 naira times $80? Or they're going to tell you to keep being feeling like Dangote is for you, and therefore, no, just sell a barrel of crude oil to Dangote for 80 naira. Do you know what 500 naira times 80 is? Help me. I think that should be 40,000, Abi. 40,000 naira. So that should be like a barrel should be 40,000 naira. Now imagine this. So if they are supposed to sell a barrel of crude oil for Dangote at 40,000 naira per barrel, and they are selling it to him for 500 naira per barrel. Do you see that difference? That means Dangote is having an advantage over others, and that advantage is like 500,000%, like percentage that you can't even quite calculate. Now, that advantage, you would then think that should then give you what? Cheap petrol. At least it's going to be refining 600,000 barrels a day, Abi. So that should serve you Nigerians, and in fact, sell to the other West African countries, Abi. Very easy and simple. Same thing they told you. The moment Dangote broke into the market, Ibeto Cement, or what's that guy's name? Is that Ibeto Cement? The ones they destroy for Dangote. The moment he got in, they said, when Dangote Cement comes, the price of cement, the price of housing, building houses in Nigeria will collapse. Well, how far with that? Now, again, they will make you think Dangote is a national asset, and therefore, whatever you are doing is a sacrifice. At least Dangote needs to make his money back. What happened is that your criminal politicians, they have camped under that, and it's a new way of not just stealing your resources this time around, of milking you by pretending that they are doing it for you. Because what do I mean? Would Dangote, for example, is your crude oil, like Saudi Arabia. Sure you get. It's Nigeria crude oil. So if they say, okay, you are giving 1.5 million barrels, selling that to OPEC, but for the local consumption, that means what? You have all you need. If you have a capacity that can, because you see that Dangote refinery, when it gets to their full capacity, let me show you what it's going to get. From 1 barrel of crude oil, when they pump 1 barrel, this is what they can produce from one. From 1 barrel of crude oil, they say you can, they say you can get 170 candles or 27 crayons. You can make 39 polyester shirts, right? From it, this is not even like crude oil yet. Not like petrol, diesel, and all that yet. other things that you can use 1 barrel of crude oil for. So it's not just petrol and diesel, aviation fuel. Sure, you get another LNG or gas, whatever they're going to take from it. But take a look. 1 barrel of crude oil can produce 540 toothbrushes. So do you see the level of employment and kind of, what they are, the raw materials that comes out of a 1 single barrel. So this is what, or let me say, these are what Nigeria has been missing for not producing or refining their own crude oil. Sure, you get. So the advantage that they are talking about there is now that now by all of this, Dangote is going to be making a kill. So what is now in it for Nigerians? Remember, they told you, they said, once Dangote starts, that's the advantage they told you. Once Dangote starts, you see that 11 trillion, which is also a political loophole that they are using to kind of, Bokwari is one of the area, apart from the fight against terrorists, that they are buying weapons that they have used to loot you, blind. Another one is the oil fuel subsidy. So which means once Dangote comes to full capacity, subsidy will disappear. So now the subsidy that the subsidy that Nigerians should now get is the fact that now you get the crude oil, So the crude oil can be pumped and refined, and Nigeria will sell it cheaper to him, so that you can buy it cheaper, But that's not how it works. The reason why you are buying petrol at 180, 200, 250, 400 per liter in some places is because they are preparing you for Dangote. So this whole thing, they are still going to model it after $80 per barrel. And because Dangote has, they will bamboozle you with so many lies in order for you to say, okay, but you will soon be asking, hello, why are we still buying a petrol for 200 naira per liter? At least Dangote petrol is now in the market, because by July, Dangote, what they are celebrating today is just to give Bokwari a kind of image that will say, oh, I couldn't build you refineries. I couldn't maintain any. I have wasted and looted 11 trillion naira in refining petrol for you. But see what I have done. I have encouraged somebody to build the biggest refinery in the world. And now that person is in Nigeria. That person has now put Nigeria on the map. You should be happy. You don't need the Kaduna refinery. You don't need all these places anymore. Nigeria cannot manage refinery. Dangote. Nigeria cannot build refineries. Nigeria cannot maintain one. Dangote can. So you should be grateful. Or do you prefer them to bring the petrol from abroad again? They will begin to tell you that if not for Dangote, you would have started buying petrol for 1,000 naira per liter. That will be the time when you are paying about 400 naira per liter. So you get, they will be telling you that you should be thankful to him for at least not letting you buy it for over 1,000 per liter. And as Nigerians, what do you want to do? What do you go do? You will have to what? Like you did with Bokwari, you will just have to adjust. You adjust. At some point, some of you are begging. May they even bring the fuel. I don't even mind to buy for 500. I don't even mind anyone. May they shall do. So at the end of the day, it is like what they were doing that they couldn't. They've never been accountable for. They have now widened it. Sure you get. And of course, it will create jobs. Okay? Just like you have graduates who are driving Dangote trailers. It creates jobs. Dangote has created jobs. It's one of the businesses that have has employed more Nigerians. At least they said that he has more than 50,000 people working for him. Ask them, what is their pay standard? What is their standard of living working for Dangote? So I am speaking from the experience, not that I want to bust your whatever it is, but I just want you to see through this charade. However, BBC released something recently and they were like, again, telling everyone that Bokwari is leaving Nigeria more insecure, more corrupted, and then what have you. So Bokwari and his gang, they are also pushing back, but I'll get to that one. But first, let's go to that Lagos, where Bokwari had few things for you before we go on.
Severely impacted by several external crises, including the global financial crisis, the collapse of oil prices, the coronavirus pandemic, and the Russia-Ukraine war. The consequences of these challenges constitute a severe strain on our economy, limiting government's ability to provide basic infrastructure without resorting to huge borrowings. Our government, therefore, took the decision to focus attention on creating an enabling environment for the private sector to thrive and fill the enormous gap in investments, not only in infrastructure, but also in all critical sectors. We recognize that without active participation of the private sector and a strong commitment to public-private partnership, our economy would continue to remain severely challenged and our economic growth impeded. Government, therefore, will and should continue to provide an enabling environment and encourage innovative public-private partnership in all sectors of our economy. Our administration has demonstrated its commitment to this in many areas, such as our Executive Order 007 of 2019, which facilitated the rehabilitation, construction of many roads by private sector investors using tax credit scheme. It is my hope that the succeeding administration will continue to apply such innovative schemes in partnership with the private sector to accelerate the provision of critical infrastructure, in particular roads, power, and gas pipelines. I am aware that the Dangote Group is already fully involved in this public partnership scheme, and we must commend Alhaji Aleko for his leadership of the business sector and his commitment to the transformation of our economy. I urge and encourage our other great entrepreneurs to emulate this iconic Nigerian industrialist and join the government in accelerating our growth in order to realize our country's globally recognized economic potential. When I travel around Africa and meet and engage my brother heads of state, and I'm delighted some of their excellencies are here, I often sense a quiet expectation that our country is blessed with resources and human capacity to lead Africa's rise to economic prosperity and the attainment of Agenda 2063, the Africa we all want. But to achieve the goals of Agenda...
Well, now save our time. Right. So I'll save you all the stress, okay? So that's what it was all about. And there are other few faces there. I'm also going to save you that. Let's go to that court today. What happened in their court today? Okay. First, from outside the court, right? I told you earlier, they are begging you to please don't abuse or attack the head of state or president and all of them that are coming to Nigeria on the 29th of May. But ladies and gentlemen, right? Abuja has been, agog with so many activities in the last few weeks. You see, these last few days, has been very, very busy too, right? But there's something there is somewhere where the pressure is being directed. And That is the Court of Appeal, or the Court of Appeal, where the Tribunal, Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, is currently sitting. So we have Nigerians who have always been gathering around there and praying, like all of you, asking God, judiciary, to do the right thing. And we have seen the Tinubu supporters and the rest of them as well, who have also been like counter-protesting too, saying Tinubu was God's choice, Nigerians' choice. So these guys have had the police in like form a sort of in their midst on many times, okay? But today, there were actually like, apart from the tribunal, there were court cases that were instituted to stop the inauguration of Kolu. And a lot of them in Abuja seems to know this too. Okay? In fact, the Abuja people who have been saying the APC PDP, for them to miss out on Abuja in all of their rigging scheme, is enough for them, Abuja, to know that, these guys didn't, Boko Haram, Tinubu didn't even win. Now, not winning that, all of us are saying, go there, go and stop them now. But say na them there, Abuja. It seems that the system themselves, the government, is rattled. They may not tell you, in fact, they are saying it now that they are rattled. They are worried. Because something? There were some people that we saw today, and I thought they are actually prisoners, but they said they are performers. Right? These are okay, hang on. These ones are the obedient, they call themselves Free Nigeria Movement. Right? And they have always been outside that Court of Appeal tribunal, reminding the judiciary that all eyes are on them. Okay? Then this one showed up today. And he initially actually thought they were prisoners. Like, nothing. There's nothing that is too much for APC to do. They hired fake bishop. They hired fake hungry babalawo. They hired fake hungry afars and the rest of it. They pay people to say things, to do things, to act up if they can't get the real people. Shana prisoners be these ones. I'll be waiting. They're saying on there'll be performance. Okay, I'll show you. For those who saw them, go into the Court of Appeal, because according to them, anybody that want to stop Tinubu's inauguration is an enemy of Nigeria. So let's go to the outside court, where I think I found it here. When I first saw that, I was like, oh, shit, they don't go back prisoners, come now, waiting.